Welcome back to Finnegan's Garage. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like the video and comment. Tell me what you think. And I want you to know this entire series of videos this week on the C10 build is brought to you by WireCare, an amazing company that's providing every scrap of wiring we're going to install in this car to finally get it running and driving for you guys.
Couple things. The battery is in the trunk, which is about 12.5 feet away. The alternator is here. The starter is here. There's a couple of things that are really high current demanding loads. The smart wire in the truck, it's capable of 125 amps. So it's got a stud that you put a big battery cable to. The alternator is obviously what supports the whole system. The battery is what starts the car. Battery acts as a cushion, obviously. So we did a starter cable yesterday. That's the biggest load in the whole system, is actually physically starting the engine. The load out of the starter is pretty high, a couple hundred amps at least. So we're gonna run a cable from the alternator right along the frame rail and hide it and sink it all the way back and run it back to the battery.
So we have to wire this truck entirely from scratch. And to do that, we're going to use the Wire Rack Dominator 3000. That's patented, made that here in-house. Fully stocked with everything from WireCare. We've got fire sleeve. This is actually called Fire Flex. This is what's gonna protect our main battery cable running from where the battery is all the way up front to the motor. That battery cable is gonna run and be clamped outside of the frame rail. So road debris, lots of things are gonna try to kill that battery cable. So we're gonna slide this stuff over it and protect it. And right now, I think we're gonna fire air down this to make this a little easier.
Yep.
Because this stuff comes in 1/4 inch inside diameter all the way up to 1.5 inches, or at least that's the sizes we have. And this is 5/8, and we're sliding it over a 1/0 battery cable, and it's kind of tight. So I'm gonna shoot some air down it.
It's butter.
And it's like magic, look at that.
It's so good.
You just need the proper lubrication. You just gotta motivate it, that's all. So there's your tech tip for today. Fire some compressed air down your Fire Flex, then your battery cable will go right in like it was, going home. She's out. Perfect. Now we'll just put some Raychem heat shrink over the end of it to hold it, and then we're there.
I put an end on this on purpose because pushing this through here would have been impossible. But by doing this, it at least let the sleeve go over it. So that was done on purpose.
Let me just fold out your handy dandy Wire Cart Dominator 3000 table here so you can assemble your stuff. There you go, look at that.
Yeah, it's custom. I'm a fan.
So I'm working on the brake lines, and I had to wait because that's perfection. See, Mike had somebody come in and weld that up. And Mike's good, but that's better. That's like the bestest. It's Andrew. He's quiet, he don't like talking, but that dude's a bad man. But check this out. We actually have this Eastwood flaring tool. It does double flares and single flares, and it's all set up by this die right here. When we're doing AN fittings themselves, they use a 37-degree flare. A lot of people don't realize it because a lot of things you're gonna get will be a 45-degree. So the way you set this thing is, I'm gonna slide my nut on, slide the sleeve on. Okay, this is what's cool. This action right here will actually make my flare the way we gotta do it. This die will flare it. Usually you have a kit that you have to twist and set that flare. But again, remember there's a 45 and 37. This is the 37 for AN fittings and stainless light. With the 2 dies, we're gonna set it in here. Okay, now you're gonna probably wonder, how does this thing stop? How does it all that? Well, this is the cool part. Eastwood makes this OP. This is its position that goes in. Thank you for helping me there, David Newburn. Off camera helping me. Okay, I'm just gonna snug it a little bit to hold it. What this OP does is, it needs a perfect stop. So as I push it, see how it pushes it back? It gets me perfectly level. Usually when you're trying to do it by hand, you're trying to set it up and do it this way sets it up perfectly level. Now, we need the 37 flare, not a double bubble, nothing that way. The way you set it up on this is, you immediately turn to OP1, which is their first deal. They have like OP1 and OP2, which is a 2-part deal. If you're doing a double flare, you got to do the first part and second part. So what we do is we just barely push this in, okay? And there's no pressure on this. Now I'm gonna lock this down. So now what this does here is it sets it to a point that it doesn't over flare it and it don't swedge it. So it's barely out. So now I'm gonna turn it to OP2 on 3/16. And if you look at this how it is, this will give me the flare I need, but it doesn't give it too long of a flare. Put it in there like this. We'll give it one more snug. And all I do is just push. And if you look carefully, you can see it's perfectly flared at 37 degrees for AN fittings. And there she is. There's a perfect flare. Now on AN fittings, you can do a flare just like this. Brake lines and stuff, you do a double flare, which basically flares it up and then pushes it back in. It makes it stronger. Steel lines and stuff, but with the stainless steel, this is how we're doing it.
Oh, dude. I see what you did there. Okay. All right. So that's sitting on the factory mounts.
Yeah, the edge of my tank is right on that mount.
So it needs to go your way though.
All right, now the very corner of the shroud is on the mount.
So the mount is about halfway in the middle of my tank. So I think, granted we don't have the blower on here right now, but we might have to notch the core support and move this back just to give us room for throttle body and air intake tube to go this way. This is not for a stock Chevy C10. We custom spec the radiator. Came from Delta PAG. These are the guys that built the radiator and brushless fans that are on Blasphemy, which, as you know, we have really good luck with on the street. No matter what the conditions are, that car doesn't seem to overheat, which says a lot because that thing has a roots blower and just makes a ton of heat when driving around for miles and miles. This one is slightly different. It has a different fan and a new controller, and these fans will move 2,700 CFM of airflow each. So you have 5,400 CFM of airflow for an LT4, which is more than enough. It's a 3-inch core, all aluminum construction. They come pre-wired through this connector here. So big red, big black goes to the battery. These are your trigger wires. These can be used for pulse width modulation. We can wire these to our Holley Terminator X Max ECU, and then we can turn these on independently, and we can speed up and slow down the fan speed to our liking for various different driving conditions.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Tricky.
Like we can have the ECU say, I only want one fan on. Oh no, we're idling in traffic on a 100-degree day. Turn on the second fan. Okay, we want them both on full speed, we want them on half speed. We can do all of that with the Holley and this controller that's mounted right here on the fan shroud. So, awesome unit. And it's gonna fit. We have the wrong wiring harness for our Holley Terminator X Max. That's supposed to come in the mail today. As soon as that comes in the mail, we can plug in all of these pieces here and put the blower back on. Once the blower's on, then we can see where the throttle body's sitting and decide how much room we need to build a 4-inch elbow here. Then we can mount this. So this, at least we know this is gonna work, so we can set it aside, wait for our new harness to show up, and then do all of that stuff.
For now, you just want to zip tie this up, just set the blower on it, just to kind of get an eyeball if that's gonna work or not.
Yeah, why not? Here, I'll hold it.
Oh, you damn, jeez.
Why is it so heavy?
Don't be wearing out the guns. You got to drive this weekend. You go the way. You go.
Trying to spin me around like we're at the square dance. Okay, ready? Pre-factory dented S15 part. If we had to, it doesn't look cool, but if we have to, we'll put it on there. And then, if we have the time, 4-inch aluminum mandrel bend, we can always cut that, clamp it there and there, and dent it on this side. just like this one's dented. You know,
I got an idea.
What?
Let's let Cotton make the intake for this.
Gotcha. He'll send it through the hood with some house AC duct on top. Down the road, we're gonna be able to do something that goes all the way back there and then put a cowl hood on this thing and use the cowl. We'll make something sick. It's not for this trip. This is just gonna get a root and a filter right there. All right, it's gonna work. So here's our radiator install. It is not wired, nor is it permanently mounted, but what we did here to gain some clearance between the throttle body and the fan, we recessed the radiator into the core support. I cut the top of it out. I removed the bracing that runs vertically in the core support so that the radiator could move forward. And then I welded this back in place. It's only tacked right now, and we honestly won't have time to finish weld it and make it look pretty. However, this did move it back approximately 1.5 inches. And then in the sheet metal brake, we made this, which will pick up these bolts here that are already in the shroud and these ones here, locking it all in place. Now, the reason we went through all those lengths to put this back in here was this provides all the support for the latch mechanism. And if you take this out, this gets really flimsy and then this will never stay adjusted. So this is gonna be a good solution to our problem and we can keep going. You wanna go? You wanna sum it up?
We'll sum it up. You sum, I'll sum it. We'll sum it up.
Mikey's dead. We're gonna leave because Mikey's dead, and rightly so. He's of age, many ages.
Wow.
And we worked really hard today, especially him. We have plumbing. Okay, it's not done. We have an exhaust that's not done either. The cab is not moved at all. However, we got a lot of things mostly almost done.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I think the cab will go on and then it's all downhill.
Well, tomorrow the cab has to go on. But I mean, everything's done. Like he's got, well, exhaust-wise, well, let's put it this way.
Everything's not done, but it's really close.
It's partially closely there.
The hard part's almost sort of done.
That's what it usually is, because whenever you've got to analyze and particularly find it in your mind to figure it out.
You should sleep, my friend. We should all sleep. We'll go to sleep. We'll start tomorrow. I believe lunchtime we're expecting to put the cab on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Stuff shows up.
Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, you ready? Are you ready, Dave? Is the world ready to see if this works? Andrew, you're gonna have to move, man. You're my aura, bro.
Here, let me get more in your way.
That's the most he's talked the whole time. What are you doing? No. No. Why you put it there? Stop. Wait, I don't.
5:48 p.m. Hope you've enjoyed your Tuesday.
Oh, we have, Alexa. It's been so.
Well, damn. That was nice of her.
It was just keen, peachy keen of Alexa. Hi, Alexa.